place online to practice yoga and meditation techniques, stretch a bit, sit in stillness a bit. Really, the whole idea is to learn to listen to ourselves. It's not really about learning to listen to me or instruction. That's just like the surface layer of it. Really, what we keep going back to again and again and again is what our bodies are telling us, what our breath is telling us, what our minds are telling us, and then adjusting from there. So really, that's the trick and the goal, and really my intention for this class is that people just learn to listen to themselves and feel confident in what they have to say. Good morning, Ethereal. Hello, friend. How are you? So, that being said, make sure to listen to your own body over my voice. Everything that I lead you through is an invitation, a suggestion. You do what works well for you. If you would like to be challenged, you can go further. If you need to take it easy, then do that too. It's not a dance routine. Really just taking this time out for yourself is the win. So once you have your mat or your blanket or towel out, your space set up, we'll begin with a seated meditation, then some breath work into movement. So that'll be asana, that's yoga poses, some functional movement, joint resiliency, lymphatic shaking, a little more breath work. And then we'll end with a nice long shavasana, corpse pose. Final relaxation, yoga nidra inspired sound bath experience, if you will. So, I'm glad you're here. Let's get started. So, excellent. So here we are starting in a comfortable seated position. I sit cross-legged in Sukhasana, easy sitting pose. It's just cross-legged. I sit my hips up on top of a folded blanket, but you might have a block or like a textbook or two. Just to get my hips slightly elevated, and then I let my hips tilt forward as my legs and knees come off onto the ground. Just that little anterior tilt in the hips makes it easier to sit up straight, nice tall spine for the practice. So imagine there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head towards the sky. Heart comes over hips, head over heart. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable, or lower to a soft gaze. We'll begin with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and an audible sigh out the mouth, shoulders drop away. Let the breath continue in and out through the nose, returning to a natural breath's pace. We'll take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. Become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. And begin to allow sounds into your awareness. There might be sounds at a distance, passing traffic, or singing birds. Or sounds closer by, the shuffling or breath of a pet, the humming of a light or the refrigerator. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel the weight. See where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. Just get a general sense of how the body feels right now. Begin to scan the body from head down towards toes, checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. Just taking note to work into those spaces that call out for your attention throughout your practice here today. We'll shift that awareness from the body, Anamaya Kosha, to the energetic level, Pranamaya Kosha. Noticing where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed. 10 being so full of energy, it's hard to sit still. And notice the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, whatever space in between. Shifting the awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Just allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely now. Observing them from a distance, no need to engage. Like a film being projected onto a screen, and the story goes on without our direct input. And just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a negative or a positive tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. We'll bring the attention back down to the breath. And this time, actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale, let something more go. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose and into the belly. Inhales fill belly, expanding, inflating, ribs expand as well. And exhales drop belly button in towards spine, deflating, pulling it all in. Hello, hello, good morning, Raju Thor. She has too many hearts to hold. My collection. Keep them in jars, of course. So, new month. What pranayama breathing technique should we practice this month? I think we should go back to our 3-part breath. Now we are halfway through the year. So we'll go back to our Dirga pranayama. That's going to be an inhale into the belly, and inhale into the ribs, and inhale into the chest. 1, 2, 3. And then exhaling in reverse. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. First, we can just work on breathing straight into the belly as we have been, still breathing in and out through the nose. You can put your hands on your belly to feel the difference. So really pressing the belly into the hands without moving the spine, just the belly is expanding. And then the exhale, belly button pulls in towards spine. So really squeezing all the air out. Then inhaling into belly. We'll bring it up to the ribs. So you can put it on the side ribs and feel the sides expand. Exhale ribs. Exhale belly. Sometimes the secret to a deep inhale is a real big exhale, because as you create that vacuum, pushing all the air out, you naturally want to breathe in. So if you're having trouble, it can really help to focus more on the exhales. Inhaling belly and ribs. Imagine the ribs expanding out to the sides. Exhale ribs, and then belly pulls in. Inhaling belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Following your breath like this. Fix this light. Okay. You might close your eyes here and just really focus. You can use your hands as that step to keep yourself accountable. But just remember, belly, chest, head on the inhale, chest, ribs, belly, ribs, chest on the inhale, chest, ribs, belly on the exhale. Mel's Camp, thank you for the raid. Good morning, my friends. We're just going over our Dirga pranayama, our 3-part breath. Hello, hello. How was your stream? How are you doing? Happy June. So, hello to everyone who doesn't know me or is new here. My name's Samela. Three-Eyed Tiger here on Twitch, and I lead yoga and meditation classes every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, and it's all levels. Plenty of people practice in their chairs at work, they'll listen in, or at home. If you do have a yoga mat, you're welcome to roll it out, and if you don't, or you're in a chair, then you're welcome to just listen along. And there are actually quite a few poses that you can do from chair. Raju, I'm doing great, doing great. So if you've been practicing this pranayama, this breathing technique, let's just do 2 more rounds. So inhaling into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest, and back out through the chest, ribs, and belly. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers, and the thumbs pressing into the heart. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice, your reason for showing up, sitting in the discomfort, and just showing up today. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me, of course. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap, chin drops towards chest, and on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest, and left ear rolls towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently roll side to side here, while still seated up tall. Thanks for checking out my artwork, Raju. And Mouse Camp had a wonderful practice. Have a wonderful practice. Thanks for being here for us. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. And the next time your right ear, or rather your head rolls through center, let's bring it up to neutral and just begin to roll the shoulders forward. So your eyes can even still be closed for this part. We're opening up the space in the upper back and between the shoulder blades. Roll the shoulders back, opening up the chest, space around the collarbones. Coming to stillness in the shoulders. Let's open up the neck here. The fingers come to the jawbone, just below the ear. And bring the fingers out just an inch or so, and we'll slide the head side to side. So mindful. Make sure the shoulders stay relaxed, no lifting and dropping, and the chin stays parallel to the ground. We're not turning the head or anything like that. We're sliding the head side to side. If you need to bring the fingers in closer, you can do that. Keep breathing, even if this is a new movement for you. Often we'll hold our breath. So just opening some new movement patterns in the body and the neck. Help alleviate pain later on. center. Look over left shoulder and right shoulder, just shake it out. Okay, let's go into some neck rolls here. So, I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see what's going on. I'm going to turn this light off. It's doing this like poltergeist thing. You can stay facing forward. Just be a little darker, a little cozier in here. You can stay facing forward. I'm just turning to the side so you can see what the movement looks like. Here's a hot mess, but it's all good. So I'm just seated up tall here. This is a string pulling me up towards the sky. Chin tucks down towards chest. And then my nose is what's leading. I'm reaching towards the ground, towards the wall in front, towards the sky, towards the wall behind, and then back in. So I'm drawing a circle with my nose. And smoothing it out. Going to the far reaches of my range of motion. Keep the breathing slow and steady. Keep the movement slow and smooth. And we'll change directions. Now the chin's leading, reaches up towards the sky, towards the wall in front, down towards the ground, and pull it in. You got one more cycle like this. And bring it back to center. We'll just drop the ear left and right, left and right. Alright, coming to stillness there. I'm just going to move the mat out from underneath me, block from underneath you if that is there. Just so you're on the ground. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, bend over to the right. Left arm's reaching over. And then just drawing a big circle in front of the body. Right arm follows. So big circles here. There's really no wrong answer. We're just opening up this lateral side bend and reach. Opening up the ribs, the spine, the shoulders. Just big, dramatic movements. And the next time your arms are out in front of you, hold them there. You can come to tented fingertips. So that's just fingertips on the ground. And just reaching forward, giving this left hip a bit of a stretch. Reaching. Breathing fully. Keeping my hips glued to the ground. Bring it back up to seated. And then change the orientation of your legs. So if your left leg's in front, bring your right leg in front. Arms sweep up on the inhale. And exhale over to the left. Sweep this arm in front and now the left arm follows. We got a few going in this direction, so a little free movement, just waking up the spine.
And the next time the arms are in front of you, we'll hold them there and tiptoe the fingers forward, 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 untucked fingertips. And you should be getting a stretch for the opposite hip. Notice you don't want to tilt forward. Keep your hips glued, your butt glued to the ground. So it's like you're reaching in opposite directions. Your spine's pulling in this direction and your arms are reaching in this. And one more full breath here. And walking the hands in, back up to seated. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, we'll take a high twist to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you. Back up through center. And exhale, left. Following the breath in to rise. Out to twist. In to rise. Out to twist. Just got one more on each side. When arms reach up overhead, then allow the elbows to bend, hands come to ear height. Just give the hands a wave out, starting to warm up the wrists and hands, the muscles, ligaments, and tendons within them, fascia, connective tissue. Palms slip down towards the ground, fingers wiggle side to side. This is a great little sequence for breaking up the workday if you do small repetitive tasks with your hands all day, like typing, texting, coding, drawing. Anything that's like small and repetitive, this kind of breaks up that patterning. Palms slip up towards the sky. It's like you're trying to get your fingernails to touch your forearm. Fingers are spread wide as you rotate, really reaching back. So you can really feel the forearms actually doing quite a bit of work here, actually getting quite a stretch here. That's how much effort is being put in the pull back and the reach back of the fingers here. 3, 2, 1. And then just like shaking off water, nice and gentle. Alright, let's extend the legs out in front. Take a sip of water. Or brush tea. Extending the legs out in front. Spread and scrunch the toes. Roll out your ankles. Waking up the lower body. Change directions. We'll bend in the knees, feet come flat onto the ground, and we'll drop the knees side to side. So now we're waking up the hips, just make sure the legs are far enough apart. Then the knees come down, they come onto the mat and on top of one another. Next time the knees come over to the right, we'll hold them there. Hands come to frame the right knee, and then bring it up to our tabletop pose. Hands below shoulders, knees below hips. And then inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for our cow pose. And exhaling, round in the spine, shin tucks in towards chest. Really pressing into the space between the shoulder blades. Following the breath in for cow pose, hands and knees pressing in towards one another like you're trying to scrunch the mat together. using that grip to even more deeply arch the spine, stretch out the belly and abdominal muscles. And exhale, cat pose, hands pressing forward, knees pressing back. You're trying to stretch your mat apart to deepen the round in the spine like a Halloween cat. So you need to calibrate with your own breath space. Let the speed of your body be informed by the length of your breath. And next time you exhale through cat pose, you squeeze all the remaining air out in the lungs. And return to neutral tabletop pose. Hey there. Thanks Marcel. Marcel Group. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for hopping on. It's dark. It's kind of dark. Alright, so let's work on some wrist resiliency and strengthening here. We're going to work on these palm heel obliques. So here we are in tabletop pose. We're going to lift the wrists up and away from the ground, just up until the knuckles, and then slowly lower it down. So if you find this easy, you can bring your knees even further back. Oh. If you don't want to use momentum, so I can't go any further back. If you found it really easy, you could even be in a push-up position. I'm not there. Tabletop is just fine for me. And if this is feeling really difficult, like you feel yourself using momentum to get up there, then actually bring your knees a little bit closer, and then there's gonna be less weight on the hands. So we're working towards 10. So you kind of know once you can do 10 easily that it might be time to start shifting your knees back a bit. So we're breathing fully, we're not holding our breath even throughout the challenge. Building strength in the hands, the wrists, the forearms. Mindful, we're not swinging the head back or the shoulders up. We're just using this forearm, wrist, and hand strength. You got probably like 3 left. Last one. Whew. Okay, toes stuck under. Hips sit up on the heels. So we're sitting back on the heels. You can feel a deep stretch on your feet. And your toes, fingers can interlace. And here we're just gonna, it's called wrist flossing. Big figure 8s in the wrist, change directions. Just like shaking off water. 3, 2, 1. Alright. Back to tabletop pose. Untuck the toes. Inhale, right arm sweeps up overhead. And exhale, we're going to weave the arm through for thread the needle pose. Landing the side of the right head and shoulder onto the ground. Back of the right arm is pressing into the ground. Left hand's pressing into the ground in front of the face to help stack that left shoulder over the right shoulder. So my left shoulder is not perfectly over my right shoulder, that's just the direction that my body's reaching in without lifting this left knee off the ground to make that happen. So you feel a twist in the spine, keeping the hips over the knees. Don't let your hips go down towards your feet. That's also a pose, just not the pose we're going for right now. And then option here to slide this left arm forward, or even to bring it on the lower back slide it down the side, trying to grab the inside of this right thigh. Great instructions, I like it. Thank you. Good, I'm glad. So in this half bind, I'm still working to get the shoulder over the right, this left shoulder over the right shoulder. And let it collapse. And if you'd like to play another little variation, just tuck the left toes under and extend the left leg long. So I'm pressing the heel back, my toes still in contact with the ground below. Just feel a little bit of a calf stretch here. And then to mess around with balance a bit, practice a little bit of balance, you might just point the toe. So now see my foot's just floating, a little bit of levitation action here. From here, without using momentum, super slow, like moving through honey, the left leg might float up towards the sky. Just mindful, if you kick up here, if you put too much momentum into it, you're gonna roll over onto your back, which it's like you'll be fine, you won't get hurt or anything. We're just aiming to move with intention and with care, breathing fully here. And then returning, just like pressing rewind, float this foot down just as slowly as it went up. Toes tuck under. Left knee touches down in front, next to the right. Left arm unbinds, pressing in front of the face. Right arm sweeps open towards the sky. And hand touches down, tabletop pose. Just gonna turn around so I can keep speaking towards the screen here. Left arm sweeps open to the sky, tabletop twist. Exhale, weave the arm through to thread the needle pose on the other side, landing left shoulder and side of the head on the ground. His bottom left arm is really pressing you to the ground like a kickstand and kind of helping you manage the balance of the posture, the intensity of the twist. Right hand's pressing in front of the face or in front of the shoulder to help stack right shoulder over left shoulder. Thread the needle pose, both knees are still on the ground, mindful that the hips are up over the knees. They have like a little tendency to slide back towards the heels, and instead we just want to keep this nice 90-degree angle. Right hand might slide up overhead, or even the hand can come to the lower back, sliding over to the left, grabbing the inside of the left thigh. Remember, in these half binds, it's not worth it if your right shoulder starts to move forward to make that connection. You want to go in order and priority, and the alignment's going to be more important than the positioning of the hands. You might stretch out this right leg by rolling the toes under, pressing the heel back. So that leg is straight. A little bit of a calf stretch, a little back of the leg stretch. And the toes might point, bringing a little float to the leg. You can even levitate that leg up towards the sky. One side might feel different than the other, all the while moving slowly, intentionally, and breathing fully. So now as you feel, if we can get into a pose, if we hold our breath, and that probably just means you're not ready to go into the posture yet. We never want to sacrifice the breath for a shape in the body. More of these. Like pressing rewind, slowly floating the foot back down. Toes touch down. Knee touches down. Unbind the hand. Left arm reaches towards the sky. And exhale, that hand touches down to the ground. Okay. So, just used to facing this way. Well, Step the right foot forward and left foot forward and heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat. Bend deep in the knees, sinking deep in the hips. Chest lifts for a low squat. And we'll extend the legs straight for a forward fold. And just go in between those two. So it doesn't have to be your deepest squat of your life or the deepest forward fold of your life. We're just waking the body up to these two options. And then the next time you're in that forward folded position with the legs straight or straight-ish, we'll hold it here. So it's okay for the knees to be a little or a lot bent here. So we're going to take our hands away from the ground and give your head a nod, yes. So if you're feeling a lot of stress or strain on the hamstrings, like backs of the thighs or the lower back, just bring a bend to the knees because here we're really focusing on stretching out the back. So no need to sacrifice the legs to make that happen. Give the head a shake no. And grab opposite elbows for ragdoll, creating a little frame for your head. And just give your torsos swing side to side or forward and back. Once again, just a little free movement here of exploration, shifting the weight from one hip to the other. Using gravity, the weight of the head and the shoulders to help elongate and alleviate pressure in the spine. We'll release the hands back through center, heel toe the feet in towards one another. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Actually see what I'm doing here. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Lose my voice. And exhale, hands come to meet at heart center. Big toes come to touch, just a little space between the heels so the ankles don't knock together. And inhale, arms sweep up overhead. As you exhale, hands down to heart center, right knee pulls in towards the body. So one-legged Tadasana. We're just using the core strength here. We're not pulling the knee in with the hand. Just activating this right hip flexor. Another deep breath in here. Then the exhale, it's like a slow motion front kick. Extend the legs straight. And then the heel comes down towards the ground. As head comes forward, we come into a warrior three, like the letter T. Crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room, heel reaching towards the back, toes can point towards the back. And then notice with the hips, the right hip's going to want to pop up here, but we want to actually pull it down so that it's in alignment with the left. So both of my hips are the same distance, or I'm working towards making them the same distance from the ground. For a little more stability, hands press into the front of the left thigh, not the knee, but the thigh closer to the hip. Resting back with the hands to help keep my chest up. Virabhadrasana 3. One more breath here. Now bend in this front knee to float the right foot down. Landing for a high lunge. And you can adjust here. So I kind of landed on a balance beam. And really I want to be more like on railroad ties, like a railroad tracks. So I want my feet to be hips distance apart widthwise. Left knee tracks over the ankle. If it's forward, just bring your back foot further back. If it's too far back, bring the back foot in a bit. I'm pressing back through the back heel. Shoulders are over the hips. If you're stuck here with the shoulders forward, bending your back knee, and that's going to give you the space to stack shoulders up over hips. You're going to have to work on your front right thigh and hip flexor flexibility so that you can get that back leg straight. It's all good. We work on that here all the time. Arms can sweep up overhead. And on the exhale, take a high twist to the left. Left hand reaches back behind you, right hand reaches forward. We're in a high lunge twist. Reaching in opposite directions here. If you still got a little space to play, you can release the left hand down towards this right thigh, and right arm reaches up towards the sky. So here you'll feel a stretch from this whole right side body. And still we're breathing fully, especially into the space where you're trying to stretch. So if you're stretching out this right rib cage, imagine sending the breath to that space to fill. And bring it back, like pressing rewind. High lunge. Hands release down to the mat. Step the right foot in, maybe 6 inches or so. And we'll work towards straightening out this left leg. So just bend and straighten, bend and straighten. If you have yoga blocks or textbooks, you can use them here to bring the ground closer to you. Extend, bend, extend. And the next time your leg is straight or straight-ish, we'll hold it here for our Parsvottanasana pyramid pose. So the back heel is pressed down into the ground, foot's at a 45-degree angle. My front foot's pressed into the ground. I'm pulling my left hip back, right hip forward. So I'm not falling into this like fake split. Instead I'm trying to get my hips square to the short end of the mat. Deep breath in here, almost like a halfway lift on tented fingertips. And exhale, fold over this extended leg. If you've still got space to play, you can lift the toes up off the ground. Dragging this heel into the ground as if you're going to pull it back. So we use grip and tension, gravity and weight to our advantage in this practice. One more deep breath here. Toes touch down, knee bends. Send the right foot back and left foot back to our plank pose. Deep breath in here, rolling onto the tiptoes. Exhale, chaturanga, lower down halfway. So we don't go past 90 degrees in the elbows. We'll just release the knees, chin, chest. And then pressing the chest through for a baby cobra, Bhujangasana. Hips are pressing into the ground. I do that by squeezing the glutes. Tops of the feet, release part of the feet pressing into the ground so hard that the knees lift. Hands are just below the shoulders, but they're really not doing much work at all. If you feel like you can't trust yourself, then just keep the hands at a hover. And exhale, chin touches down. Inhale back to that cobra pose. Hands lifted. You can even bring your hands back behind you. Palms are facing the ground, but they're just lifted up and away. Exhale, touch down. On the breath, in to rise. Out to lower. In to rise. Squeezing the shoulder blades together like you're holding a pencil between them, squeezing the glutes, pressing the feet into the ground. Exhale, lower. Just got 3 more like this. Strengthening all those good posture muscles. and all the muscles that get strained throughout the day from hunching over. Last one. And hands come underneath the shoulders, toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. Here you might walk your feet in. You're going to want to find your distance here. The closer your feet are to your hands, the deeper the stretch of the legs. The further your feet are from your hands, the deeper the stretch of the shoulders. Somewhere in the middle is nice. A nice balance, unless there's a specific body part that you're focusing on today or calling out for your attention, maybe during that early body scan. And then fingers are spread wide. We're trying to keep the weight out of just the wrist and into the pads of the fingers, almost like you're palming a basketball. Head is heavy. Eyes are open either between the toes or between the knees. You're trying to get your shoulders heavy. It's almost like you're trying to get your armpits to touch the ground here. Hips are pressed up and back behind you like they're going to touch where the back wall meets the ceiling. And the heels are pressing down towards the ground, even if they don't touch. If they do touch, you can work on lifting the toes. If they don't touch, they're just pressing towards it. It's okay, you're still in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Whatever it looks like. Deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. Then right leg sweeps up and back behind you. Bend in the knee and stack the right hip over the left hip. Three-legged dog. Mindful, this left elbow is going to want to bend, but keep it straight instead, keeping the shoulders square to the ground. Deep breath in, three-legged dog. And then exhale, tiger's pose. Bringing the knee in towards the nose, rounding the spine, lifting the belly out of the way, just like cat pose. Then roll onto the tiptoes of the left foot, bringing shoulders up over the wrists. Right foot steps up between the hands. It's okay if that took more than one step. Left foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch. A little space between the heels. And inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. As you exhale, hands to heart center, the left knee pulls in towards the body. Lifting for our one-legged Tadasana on the other side. Just noticing the right foot makes all these little micro adjustments, and it can feel really new. However, we actually have these little adjustments happening in our feet all the time, every time we stand. Breath in here. And then the exhale, like a slow motion front kick, extend the left leg long. Let the foot come down like a pendulum swing. The head comes forward as the leg goes back. Like making the letter T in your body, warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Hands can come onto hips, and you can see if that left hip started rising up, and just pull it back into alignment. The hips are staying distance from the ground. Hands might come onto the right thigh and press back, not on the knee, closer to the hip. And using that press to keep the chest in the same line as the ankle. One more breath here. Bend in the right knee, slowly floating, or on the right knee, slowly floating the left foot down to the ground. Landing for a high lunge. Adjust accordingly here, giving yourself a little more space widthwise by walking the feet towards opposite edges of the mat. Right knee is over right ankle. Shoulders over hips. Mindful that might mean you have to bend in your back knee a bit. If not, you're really pressing the heel back, getting this leg straight, straight, straight. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, high twist to the right. Right arm sweeps back behind you, left arm reaching forward. If you still got space to play, you can release the right arm towards the left thigh and reach the left arm towards the sky. Actively breathing into the side body. One more deep breath here. And like pressing rewind, we'll release the hands back parallel, back through high lunge, and hands release down to the mat. Just give that back left foot a step forward, maybe 6 inches to a foot, and we'll work on straightening and bending the front knee. Just releasing that leg from some of the pressure that I was holding, some of the tension I was holding. So just dynamic stretching, just moving in and out of a pose before you hold it for an extended period of time is easier on your system. Next time the leg is straight or straight-ish, we'll hold it there for our Parsvottanasana pyramid pose. Here we're pulling our right hip back, pressing the left hip forward, so that both hips are the same distance to the short end of the mat or working towards that. Hands can be on blocks or our tented fingers. Deep breath in here. And exhale, you might fold over this extended right leg. If you still got space to play, you can lift the toes and really press the heel into the ground and drag it back to create even more tension in the back of the leg. One side might be different than the other, so don't feel pressured to move perfectly symmetrically in your body. We don't treat our body symmetrically the rest of the time in our lives, so in yoga, even though we want to work on imbalances and strengthen up sides that might be weaker or less flexible, there's no need to force or rush that process at all. Just got one more breath here. Then foot touches down, knee bends. Slide the left foot a bit further back, right foot steps back to meet it. Plank pose. On the inhale, rolling onto the tiptoes. Chaturanga, lower halfway. Tops of the feet flip. Actually, let's release. Knees, chin, chest, all the way down to the ground. Take my mind. Alright. So, here we can bend in the knees and just windshield wiper them side to side. Try not to kick your singing bowls. Alright, so we got the front of the legs really warmed up here. So I got one more challenge for you. We're going to bend in the knees for Dhanurasana. So we're going to reach the hands back to grab tops of the feet. You can do this one leg at a time as well if you don't quite reach here. And then just notice, if your knees splayed apart for this, just walk them in towards one another, like your knees are going to touch, or as close as you can get to that. Mouth, chin, and forehead come centered. And then an inhale, chest and shoulders rise as feet kick into the hands. They kick so hard that the thighs lift up off the mat. So floor boat pose. Shoulder blades are squeezing together. I'm really kicking up and back with the feet. Grip super strong. I'm not worried that my hands are going to slip or anything like that. And I'm breathing fully here. The breath might bring a rock to your pose, and that's just fine. And one more breath here. release gently. Eyes touch back down, hands release. Chest touches back down. And give the hips a little move side to side. In through the nose, audible sigh out the mouth. Let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Big toes come to touch. Knees splay out. And then sit the hips back towards the feet for our Garudasana, child's pose. Head can come down onto, so forehead can release down onto the ground. It's just a resting pose, so we just got a couple breaths here. Fingers spread wide. Coming back to tabletop pose, toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. Finding your spacing. Fingers spread wide. Head hanging heavy. Chest is heavy too, pressing down towards the ground. Hips are light, pressing towards the sky. Heels pressing down towards the ground. Deep breath in through the nose. Audible sigh out the mouth. Left leg sweeps up and back behind you. Bend in the knee. Stack left hip over right hip. Three-legged dog. Mindful this right elbow's going to want to bend, but instead keep it straight and strong. Shoulders same distance from the ground. Deep breath in here, reaching up through the knee. Exhale, tiger's pose, rounding in the spine. Knee comes in towards nose. Rolling onto the tiptoes of the right foot. Shoulders come up over the wrists. The left foot steps up between the hands. Okay, if it takes more than one step. Right foot steps up to meet it. Big toes come to touch. A little space between the heels. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale brings you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. Alright, so we built up a bit of heat there. Let's shake it out. So we're just gonna shake out whatever did and did not happen there. A bit of lymphatic shaking. So what that looks like, you can bring a hop to the body, or even just lift the heels and allow them to drop down, landing with soft knees. So I'm bringing a bounce to the body, shoulders lift and drop, lift and drop. Just letting the arms flop here. Two, just let anything that jiggles, just letting it jiggle, shaking out the hands. So all class we've been breathing in and out through the nose. And now I'm just going to invite you to exhale out the mouth. Audible sighs are invited and encouraged. So we're just releasing tension. So we've been using tension, strength, effort, in resistance in this class to get into all those shapes. And now there's no shape to be in. You're literally just jiggling it all out, releasing all that stress. So as important as it is to be able to flex and put effort forward, it's also important to be able to let go and release. And in my experience, that's been a much harder practice. I don't think that that's actually that unique or special about me. I think probably a lot of people would agree that it's actually more difficult to relax than it is to put in effort. So yeah, it's a little counterintuitive because we're putting effort into letting go. But that's why I think lymphatic shaking is kind of nice, because it's a nice exercise in letting go that's still active. Like, what do you gotta do? You've got to lift and drop your heels hard enough, create a jiggle, or you need to hop. You know? So there's some action involved in that. And it's been scientifically proven to help release this tension, help interrupt patterns of chronic pain in the nervous system. Audible sighs feel so good. All those rude sighs that you got yelled at as a kid for sighing in class or at the dinner table, it's like, it's okay, because now you have this chance And this time in this class, just alright, we just got like 30 seconds left here. So we just get to 3 minutes, which is the daily recommended dose. And taking your vitamins, here we just shake it up. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Holding it here, just notice, feel that tingle, feel that heat that's built up. Alright, this next practice is a practice in letting go. It's a breathing exercise. It's super powerful. It's called Breath of Joy. And there's 4 parts to it. It's 3 sips of air in, so like a third of the air, a third of the air, final third of the air. In, through the nose, and a big ha out through the mouth. You get to yell and be loud and take up space. So arm sweep forward on the first inhale, arm sweep out on the second, forward on the third, and a big ha out through the mouth, arms throw back. So you're going to want to make sure that you have space here. You're not in danger of hitting any furniture or any roommates. And then easy, just in time. Hello, my friend. Or maybe you've been here the whole time or just been practicing class, but welcome to Breath of Joy. Alright, so we've got about 10 rounds of this. In, 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 ha! In, 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 ha! In, ha! 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 3 left. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Whatever you're holding on to, let it go. Ha! All right. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, feet nice and wide so you're stable. Eyes can close. Just take a moment here to arrive and observe what was created, what shows up when you let yourself jiggle and shake and take up space and be loud. Or what shows up as resistance to stop you from fully participating. Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. We'll gently blink the eyes open. You can grab a sip of water, towel off any sweat. Makes me laugh every time. You know, that's why it's called Breath of Joy for a reason. Back when I was teaching classes in real life, like at studios, I would only do Breath of Joy like once, maybe twice a month. Like on special occasions. But I feel like because quarantine and pandemic and we're online and all of that, it's just been great to do this every day with you guys. I really went from like being like, oh my god, am I really gonna do this where I'm being recorded, to just being like, yep, this is just what I do. I just like yell every day. It's freaking great. So if you're already on the ground, you just stay there, and if you're not, you can come down with me. Must be working, you look joyful. Thanks. I'm a pretty joyful person in general, but breath of joy doesn't hurt. So, inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, knees bend deep, deep, deep. So deep that you come to seated. You can walk your hands back. Feet come to touch. Knees splay open, Baddha Konasana, bound ankle pose. You can just flap butterfly wings a little bit just so your hips are cool with you being here. And give your feet a little bit of a massage. You can grab onto the ankles or the shins. On the inhale, use that grip to pull your chest forward, coming to a nice tall straight spine, even a little bit of a back bend. Deep breath in. And exhale, forward fold. Belly, chest, head. Your arms can reach forward with tented fingertips, just like we kind of practiced earlier in some postures. Or you can use the grip on the ankles to press the elbows into the knees. So I'm pulling up with the hands, which presses down with the elbows to get a nice deep hip stretch. Either variation is right. One's not better than the other or more advanced than the other. It's just two different options. Either way, you want the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. They have a tendency to scrunch up in this pose no matter which variation you're in. Just letting your breath return to in and out through the nose. One more deep breath here. Right, back up to seated. Knees come together, extend the legs out in front. And then I just shift forward, like let my butt kind of be dragged by my heels coming forward for staff pose. It's like making the letter L with your body. This pose took me 3 years to get into. I could always do like crazy other ones, but this pose was so painful for me because I had a lot of work to do on my back, on my spine. The spine's really like the cornerstone to all yoga postures. So here we are sitting in staff pose. Hands can come behind you for a little stability. Once again, we're gonna get nice and tall in the inhale. It might even look like a slight chest like pop, or like a little baby back bend in the upper back. Every forward fold feels so much nicer with a little baby back bend before. Deep breath in. And exhale, belly, chest, head. It's all reaching past your feet. So it's like your belly's trying to go forward, your chest is trying to reach forward, your head's trying to reach forward, and just because it's connected to your hips, you happen to come down. So it's not like I'm trying to get my belly to the floor, my head to the floor. I'm trying to reach it forward. I'm elongating. It's called Paschimottanasana, so it's head to feet pose. Yes, the spine is the axis of our world. That should be a fortune cookie. The fortune cookie wisdom, M9 Easy, the fortune cookie wisdom. Alright, so once again, the arms can reach out in front. If your intention today was just to be calmer after class, or to heal, or to rest, then just palms up is kind of like a symbol of surrender. If you're looking to deepen the stretch or be a bit challenged, you can grab onto the legs wherever you reach, maybe it's the feet, and then help by pulling. Once again, it's like you're pulling the head towards the feet. It's not you're pulling yourself towards the ground, right? And on the backs of the legs, if there's some space behind my knees, if I wanted to open up the backs of my legs, the hamstrings, the calves, I'm gonna flex my feet. That's gonna press my calves into the ground. And flex my quads. That's gonna help straighten out my knees. I'm not pressing down with my hands or anything like that. No need to be forceful. I'm just noticing breathing into the belly as I inhale. I have to press back a bit to make the space. But on the exhale, it gives me a little room to deepen in. And once I've gotten deep enough into the pose, I just breathe into the space between my shoulder blades instead of the space into my belly. So I'm still breathing just as deep. Just finding new places for the lungs to fill. One more deep breath here. Back up to seated. Knees bent. Tilt it up to Urdhva or upward facing boat pose. Shoulder blades squeezed together. Hands release. Deep breath in. And then slowly, slow motion, release. Down, full body stretch. I'm reaching through my toes, through my fingers. Let the knees come in. Gently release them over to the right. Stacking left hip over right hip. Right hand lands on top of left knee. And left arm opens up like the letter T and pressing my left shoulder down towards the ground. For Supta Matsudrasana, supine spinal twist. You might gaze over this left finger, this left hand to complete the twist. Head comes up through center, knees come up through center. Gently release the knees over to the left. Stepping right hip over left hip. Left hand lands on top of right knee. And right arm opens up like the letter T. Just pressing the shoulder towards the ground. Otherwise, it's just breath and gravity doing the work. So, I mentioned this earlier. Often these poses can be more challenging than the physically challenging, like the surface level physically challenging ones, like balance, really flexibility, necessary postures, because this is all about letting go. This is all about just letting yourself melt and be heavy. There's really nothing to do, nowhere to go. And just breathe. Every exhale sinks you heavier. And even so, this pose is great for relieving lower back pain, sciatica. It works all of its magic without us having to fight through it. Head comes back up through center, knees come up through center. And notice, is there any last wiggle or pose or posture that your body's asking for? All class we tell our body what to do, and then we just ask back. So when we start asking our body how it's feeling, it might not answer in words. Very likely it won't. So you just we're just working on building up that line of communication, that language. So it takes a little trial and error. It doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name. Doesn't have to look pretty. We're just kind of moving freely and exploring what our bodies might want us to do for a change. As you're ready, we'll release into our Shavasana, final relaxation pose. Corpse pose even. The legs extend down the length of the mat, feet come at least a foot apart. Legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open. Shoulders tuck under the chest to support. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest, and the arms release down by the sides, palms face open, a symbol, a mudra of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Head is neutral. Eyes can close. And if that's not comfortable, just a soft gaze towards the sky is just fine. If you know laying flat on your back doesn't work so great for you, then you can bend in the knees, feet come to the edges of the mat, knees knocked together. Hips lift and tuck, gently lowering the hips back down to the ground. Now with an elongated lower spine, lumbar spine, for broken bridge pose. So here in broken bridge or in Shavasana, or if you're seated, continuing in your seated meditation position. And come to our last practice together here today. Shavasana is all about integration. Integrating the effort, all the effort and lessons of today's class into muscle memory, into long-term memory. We'll begin with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. Allowing the breath to continue in and out through the nose. Inviting the exhalations to become deeper and longer than the inhalations. Every exhale sinks you deeper and heavier into the ground below you. Invite space between top and bottom teeth. And tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth as the jaw hangs heavy. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. And the breath, following it as it gently passes through the nostrils, down the throat and into the belly. Back up through the back of the throat, out the nostrils. Warmer now, you may feel that breath brushing against your upper lip. Following the breath here like the tide lapping up to shore. In your mind's eye, walking up to this shore. basket near the edge. Imagine placing something that no longer serves you within that basket. Maybe a conversation with yourself or with another person, a painful memory, or something else. Whatever it is, place it in. And place the lid up top, sealing it. Walking this basket to the water. Wading into the water deep enough so the tide will bring it out to sea. Let that basket go. See, visualize your hands pressing it away and pushing it off towards the horizon. Notice if in your mind that inner dialogue quieted, if even just for a moment. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. And the places of restlessness have found peace. Allow for everything that did and did not happen in class today. Know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Allow your inhalations to deepen now, and every inhale bringing your awareness to the surface. As fingers begin to wiggle and and toes begin to curl. Head can gently rock side to side as any feelings of heaviness are replaced with feelings of lightness and expansion. Arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Let your knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, landing in a fetal position. Fully released and fully supported by the ground below you. You can use that bottom arm as a pillow. Bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today. Or set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a full body flow with really a focus on opening the legs. Lots of legs, stretching and strengthening. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you to everyone who joined me today. I hope you found something that serves you. And you're down on the ground practicing all the poses with me. Sneaking in meditations at work, or just lurking for that sound bath at the end. I appreciate you. Your presence brings energy to the space, even if you have not built up the courage or don't have any interest in typing into chat, though I do appreciate the company. M9 Easy, Namaste, Marcel Grew, Mel's Camp, Ethereal, Rajathor. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Namaste, Ethereal. Thanks for dropping the tips information. Yes, so $5 does get you a recording. I do only post, try to only have one VOD up. I do only have one VOD up at a time here on Twitch, just so people even know what my channel is about. Otherwise, the entire library of all 104 classes is on YouTube on a private server, so you do get a private link to that for a $5 tip with timestamps to all your favorite parts of class. And I appreciate it. It does make a big difference. All those $5 tips really add up, and I feel very supported and loved by this community. Thanks, it's great how you can get the class video for $5 so we can do yoga all day. Yes, well, because you know, and M9 Easy, you were here before when I was teaching literally every single day. So classes, let's see, class 5 through 74 were consecutive every single day. And now I'm just teaching Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. So on all your days off that I'm not streaming, what's it called? You can always check out the videos. Or just like hop onto the parts that you like, right? You could just do the meditations or the lymphatic shaking, the breath of joy. Sometimes we need an excuse to yell, and I love being that excuse for you guys. Like, I'm about being your excuse to sit in silence and stillness, or your excuse to work on a handstand, or your excuse to lay down and take a spiritual nap that we call Shavasana. I'm especially down for being your excuse to yell during, during Breath of Joy, so. Alright, we rated The Great Kind on Monday. And I think today she's doing like a coaching interview. So yeah, chat. Get the videos and become a better yogi. Thanks guys. Thanks for promoting my channel. Y'all the best. What did you say about getting all the videos? Well, right now I'm just doing $5 for a recording, but like, for example, like you were in class today. Say you were to send me $5, you could just say, hey, instead of today's recording, I missed class last Sunday. Can I have that one instead? Like, yeah, totally. I have like the links to all of them. I just don't, but I have to like send them individually. So yeah, you could just specify which class you want. There we go. So yeah, I don't know. One day I might make like the whole library available, but they're just screen grabs of this stream. So I don't know. Love you. Thanks you too, Ethereal. Have a great day, everybody. So I'm gonna raid Mom Furious. Let's go say hi to Gatina. I feel like I need like a little like caffeine in my life. Visual caffeine because I don't really drink that much coffee. So let's go to Mom Furious because he has so much energy. Yoga with Jen. Oh, I'm good. Oh, shoot. Are you about to teach? I should have rated into you. I'm doing great. Thank you, Amnais. You have a great day too. Class was great. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate you. Yeah, so we're gonna